what are the configuration steps between two system when you have to set up the ALE, right? So the question over here is like this. This is one system, SAP1, and you have another system over here called SAP2. Now, when you have to establish the connection between system 1 to system 2, what is the steps here in SAP1 and what is the steps here in SAP2 you will have to do, you will have to perform, right? So what is the first step? Who will tell? What is the first step which we are going to do in sender system? So this is my sender system and this is my receiver system. Okay, this is my sender system and this is my receiver system. So the first step, what we'll have to do, define the logical system. Good, define the logical system. Why the logical system is required, right? Logical system required because this SAP1 system does not know directly about this SAP2 system. So in order to make this SAP1 system to understand that SAP2 system is also some system in the network are present, what we will have to do, that we have to go into the transaction called SALE. Okay, SALE, or I think the direct T code is BD51, not exactly remember, but SAL is the transaction and directly you can go and define the logical system over there. Okay, so first step, go to the T code cell. So here let me write. So the first step is go to T code cell. So if you remember cell only, right? If you remember the cell only, you don't have to remember the various transaction. By going here itself, you will get the option to define the logical system. Okay. So the thing over here, first you will have to define the logical system. Define the logical system. And the same thing also here also you'll have to do in SAP2 system as well. So define the logical system for SAP uh, 1. Here you are going to define this SAP1. What's the meaning of this SAP1? And then SAP2 also you are going to define over here. So define the logical system for SAP2, right? So we are just defining the logical system. Once you define the logical system, in the second step, because in this system can have the multiple client 800, 810, 840, 850. One system can be there with the multiple client. So from which client you want to do the communication, because data is client dependent, right? So for that purpose, you will have to assign the client to logical system, right? So this is the second step. Right, here also you'll have to do, here also you'll have to do. So first and this is the second, right? In the third step, what we'll have to do, that once you define that what is SAP1 system, what is SAP2 system, after that you will have to establish the connection between SAP1 system and SAP2 system, right? So how you can establish the connection? So connection establishment is done via RFC, remote function call configuration. Okay, so create RFC connection, create RFC connection. So create RFC connection. Direct T code is SM59. Okay, create RFC connection. Because data you are sending from SAP1 system to SAP2 system, SAP1 system required to have the RFC connection for SAP2 system, right? If you want to get the data back from SAP2 system to SAP1 system, here also you would require to create a RFC destination for SAP1 system into this SAP2 system, right? But my requirement over here, just I'm sending data from SAP1 system to SAP2 system. So I'm going to create the RFC connection only here in SAP1 system only, right? Here I'm not going to create. So the third step here, you don't have to perform. In the fourth step, once you create the RFC connection, okay, once you create the RFC connection, because data has to flow from here to here, right? How the data will pass from here to this wire, and from this wire to this another destination, right? So if you see that, if you have a charger and if you want to flow the control current from the board to your mobile, what you require? You require a charger, and you charger put into the port, right? Because without port you will not be able to receive the current, right? You will not be able to receive the current. However, the port is also defined as the logical name for an input or output device. Okay, so port is also, so what you understood. So the fourth point, you will have to create the port actually. Why the port is needed to be created, right? Just we understood, because if you want to establish the connection with this wire, with this SAP1 system, you need to have a port over here, so that it will be, it's going to fit exactly, right? That's the purpose of port. But technically it is something like that. Port is defined as a name of the it's defined as the name, logical name for the input or output device. It's a logical name for input or output device, with which part of the SAP1 system it's going to connect, what kind of communication is going to happen, right? So it's going to, it's going to define a specific type of communication. But in a simple layman term, let's understand like that, right? The port is something like, if you want to have, if you want to have establish the connection between two system, right? One port need to be there, so that your wire, your communication need to be fixed over there, so that by this way we can remember for easily. So this is the port. Just going to write here logical name of input or output device, right? Logical name for input or output device. So this is the port. So here you require port. Do you require here also port? Do you require here also port? Okay. So generally, like if you this way communication from sender to receiver, it is there. Port is not required here. Okay. Again, from SAP2 to SAP1 is if you have to make from SAP2 to SAP1, here again you will require the port, because if SAP2 in my scenario is only going to receive the data, here you don't require the port. So third and fourth step is gone in the receiver system. Okay. Now you can create the port through the transaction called WE21. Okay, this is the transaction to create the port. Fifth step. Now after creating the port, right, simply we're not going to send the data to anyone, right? You should have the proper understanding about your friend where you are going to send the data. You should have the proper understanding, proper profile of your friend, proper profile of your partner, right? Then only you will be able to send the data, right? So based upon understanding the nature of your friend, right? If you understand everything about friend, then only you will be able to send something, right? So here also SAP1 and SAP2 is going to be friend. So SAP1 need to understand what is the profile of my partner. Okay, so once your port is done, you are going to create the profile of your partner. So partner profile creation, partner profile creation. So the transaction for this is W20. So just remember this one. In the next slides, I'm going to write all these things in the form of question, and you are supposed to give the answer. Okay. So here this in the sixth step, once you create the partner profile, right? Once you create the partner profile, the data, right, is data will flow directly from SAP1 system to SAP2 system without doing anything. No, it will not directly flow without doing anything. You require something over here which can push the data from SAP1 system to SAP2 system, right? What is that which is going to be required, right? How you are going to push the data, right? You require program, you require program or function module, you require program or function module. This program is known as outbound program. Okay, this program is known as outbound program. Why? Because from here you are sending the data, your data is going out from SAP1 system, right? So because you're sending the data, that's why that IDOC is known as, for this SAP1 is outbound IDOC. And because that program is generating the outbound IDOC, that program is known as outbound program. Okay, so this is the outbound program. In the sixth step you will have to follow. What is the important function module through which you are going to generate the IDOC? What is the important function module with the help of which you are going to generate the IDOC inside this program or the custom function module? What is that? A standard function module. What is that? A standard function module, right? What is that standard function module? That function module is nothing but master IDOC distribute. We'll write that one in next slides. Okay, here come, and here these two steps is going to be not here. Okay, these two steps is not going to be here. So let me cut this one. This is not here, right? And now now the fifth step here, the partner profile creation. Here the partner profile you will have to create. Okay, fifth step here also the partner profile creation is required. So partner profile creation is required over here. Okay, sixth step here, in the sixth step here, what we'll have to do that, what we will have to do that in sixth step here, whatever you are going to send from here, IDOC is going from SAP1 system to SAP2 system, right? So here also you require something in order to capture the IDOC and process its data, right? How that is possible? That is possible over here with the help of a function module. We are going to create a function module, or maybe we can trigger a workflow, right? So any event we are going to trigger over here. So if some IDOC is going to come from SAP1 system to SAP2 system, some process code is going to get hit, right? That process code is responsible for identifying the IDOC based upon its message type. okay, based upon its message type, and the process code through which the function module is going to be linked, that function module or workflow is going to be triggered. So what we'll have to do in the sixth step over here, we'll have to create the inbound function module, right? Inbound function module or workflow task, and that you will have to, you know, uh, so here let me write inbound function module or workflow, whatever you want to do. So generally we use inbound function module very frequently. We create the inbound function module. So you'll have to create the inbound function module, custom function module if it is your custom development, right? Once you create the custom function module, it has to be registered. It has to be registered. Why it is registered? Because if you register this function module, then only the system will come to know that this particular inbound function module is for the purpose of IDOC processing, right? So you'll have to do the registration, where you can do under the BD51 transaction. You will have to do, and this registration is known as registration of characteristic of the inbound function module. So let's put in the simple word. First, you will have to create the inbound function module, and then you will have to register the inbound function module. That's it. Register the inbound function module. Okay. Basically, we are registering the characteristic of inbound function module, right? But just to make it simple, we are writing like register the inbound function module. But completely, if you want to write, you can write like register the characteristic of inbound function module. So this is now done. In the next step, right? In the next step, how this function module is going to get triggered? This is going to get triggered with the help of process code, right? So you need to create a process code. So create a process code. Where you will create this process code? You will have to create this process code through the, you know, transaction called WE42. This is the transaction to create a process code. All right. And this process code and the function module you are going to link together, right? This process code and function module you are going to link together. Then only when the process code is going to be hit, your function module is going to get triggered, right? So for for that purpose, under the inbound partner profile, here in the fifth step, in the inbound partner profile, you are going to mention the process code. Okay. So this is the complete step you have. What you will have to follow, one more step here is that, see, you have to make sure that for a specific message type only, your inbound function module is going to get triggered or workflow is going to trigger. So for that purpose, where you can do the configuration with transaction, you can do the configuration. So the transaction for that is the T code for that, T code for, you know, establishing the relationship, establishing the relationship between FM and message type is WE57. Okay. So here directly you can, you know, go and mention this one. So this is overall configuration step you have, right? This is overall configuration step you have. But how you will pass the data from SAP1 system to SAP2 system, right? You will require some structure, correct? So that structure you are going to define in form of segment, where what is the transaction to create the segment, right? So the segment creation is under the transaction WA31. Once you create the segment, this segment need to be assigned to a basic type, and basic type is like, you know, your domain in the data dictionary. Okay, basic type is something like a domain in the data dictionary. So the segment type is going to, so this segment type you are going to assign to the basic type, and this basic type is also known as idoc type. Okay, basic type is also known as idoc type. Now this basic type or idoc type, where you can create this, you can create under the transaction we30. Okay, so this is like domain domain in the data dictionary, means it will be having all the technical information. Okay, domain is for what? Domain is for the purpose of having the technical information. So basic type is going to have all the technical information. Segment is going to have all the fields which it's going to carry. So inside a segment you can also have the another segment. So segment can have the deep structure also, that is possible, right? Once you create the basic type, I'm getting little fast, I have one more video over there on the YouTube in very well in more detail it is explained over there. You can go and refer that one also if you are feeling something hard or something like that. So here basic type, and then after the basic type, what we'll have to create, you'll have to create the message type. This message type is like your data element. It's going to give you the semantic meaning. That means one basic type can be assigned to multiple message type. Okay, one basic type and idoc type both is same. Okay, one basic type can be assigned to multiple message type, same as in case of domain and data element, right? One domain can be assigned to multiple data elements. So similarly here, and message type gives you the semantic information. With the help of message type you can understand what stands for, this idoc stands for what purpose, meaningful. It gives you some meaning. Okay, it gives you the semantic information. Once you create the message type, right, you have to assign somewhere this basic type to message type. So this assignment happens, message type creation is we81. Okay, and the assignment of message type to basic type is we82. Okay, so that is we82. So assignment of message type to basic type, this is the T code we82. Okay, so message type creation is we81. Okay, and this is fine, this is done, this much only you'll have to do. So now, okay, the same thing here also it is written, fine. Okay, the same thing what we have discussed over here, it is there in the next slides. Okay, no problem, just go here, and whatever we have written over here, I'm going to ask the question, just give its answer. You'll have to tell what is, and keep writing your answer in the chat box. Before that, let me see, it's something here. Okay, if any question for me, master IDOC distribute, BD64 is not required. Okay, BD64, if we're going to use the BD64, this port creation and partner profile creation you can skip. Okay, if you want to use the BD64 automatically create the port and partner profile in sender and receiver system as well. That's the beauty of BD64. If you want to filter your IDOC, so this is the complete step. We'll see that where we can use the BD64. If you don't want to do manually, if you don't want to perform this step manually here in the sender system, right? And this partner profile creation. So here in the receiver, only one is required, partner profile, right? So this this step number 4 and 5 in the sender and step number 5 in the receiver. If you don't want to perform this manually, you can directly go and use the BD64. BD64 is going to do these things for you. And there are other advantages as well for the BD64. But these are the complete step. If you want to perform everything manually, this is what you will have to do.